So let's go back to the beginning with your entanglement with Natasha. I said, entanglement with Natasha? Now, how Natasha get in it? So anyway, Natasha probably sitting at home pissed. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Y'all already know here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. Y'all know it is Friday night, so we are talking OWN's hit show, Ready to Love. This is season 7, episode 12, Too Much Baggage. Thought I had lipstick on me, y'all. Anyway, let me know I got lipstick on my face in the comments, because I always be missing my lips. Anyway. Also, while you're in the comments, let me know what you thought of this episode. I appreciate you guys commenting. You guys are always getting engaged. I appreciate that. Share the video. Tag me wherever you share it. If it's on Twitter, at Brandy Yvonne. Tag me on there or just share it wherever you want to share it. Also, thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. And thank y'all for subscribing. Y'all just don't know how much it means to me as a new YouTuber. Like, it really means a lot to me. So anyway, let's get into the video because... Ready to love, y'all not gonna worry me, okay? I'm ready to get to the end. I'm ready to see what the couple's gonna be. Y'all playing, y'all teasing at this point. So let's get to the episode. So the men lead up in the lounge. They got like a new lounge. Tommy's like, you know, I got a curveball. You like my new lounge? He said it's eclectic. I don't know where they at, but it wasn't the church basement anymore. So anyway, Tommy lets the fellas know that they will be introducing the ladies to their family, okay? And next week, we see that the ladies are going to introduce the men to their family. So anyway, this week, it's the men's turn. So he said, you know, the family is the best. Nothing can go wrong with that because they're going to tell you the truth. They have your best interest in heart. Sometimes family don't have your best interest in heart. Sometimes it can go wrong. So I didn't fully agree with Tommy, but I get what he meant. So first date we see is Tony introducing Morgan to his sister, Regina. Okay, Regina has some bright red dreadlocks. Okay, those are cool. So Morgan came in her yellow outfit. And so he was like, you know, Regina, got this, you know, I've been in this process, been dating different women. I got this one girl, you know, I'm really, you know, I'm taken with, I'm smitten with, I really like. And she was like laughing at him. She wasn't taking him seriously. She was like, you be liking all the girls. And she was like, no, I really like this one. And that tell me everything I need to know about Tony. Regina see her brother for what he is. So anyway, Morgan came and they did the small talk and all that. And Morgan said that she really likes that Tony is a man's man, but sometimes the macho-ness is too much and he doesn't communicate well and he needs to soften it up, be more sensitive, take it down a notch. And so she feels that they need to talk to someone about their communication. So Regina was chewing her food and she's like, girl, what you say? Like, come again? And so she's like, I feel like we need to talk to somebody, you know, get some counseling. Regina was like, oh, no, girl. And so Morgan's like, you're not feeling that? And so she was like, don't you think it's too soon? Like, y'all barely dating. And so she was like, well, I feel like, you know, we need help with our communication and all this stuff. So Regina wasn't feeling all that, okay? And so Tony was like, yeah, you know, Morgan is just trying to, you know, help us because we have some issues going on. So when Morgan left, Regina was like, counseling, like already, like what's going on? And so Tony was like, yeah, I don't know if that's what she really meant. Like, I don't know. Regina was like, he's like, well, do you like her? She's like, I like her. He's like, you like her for me? She's like, I don't know about that. Like, that's for you to decide. Regina wasn't checking for Morgan, okay? Bottom line. All right, so let's get to Anthony's date. So Anthony introduces his cousin Chris to Cynthia. Now, Anthony, I thought he was like number 10. He had like 9 brothers and sisters. I said he couldn't call it one of them siblings. Anyway, now I noticed nobody brought their parents on. that was too much, huh? So anyway, Chris is like a brother to him, like a little brother, he said. So he's talking to Chris before Cynthia came, and he's like, okay, you know, I've been talking to this girl. Like, you know, I want you to let me know what you think. And he's like, okay, first of all, what don't you like and like about her? So Anthony's like, my only hesitation is that her ex, James, you know, when we met, he came out a little strong. He seems like he's not ready to let her go and move on. And so Cynthia came, and so Cynthia was like, okay, like, so, you know, he was like, I really know Anthony. She's like, okay, so you can tell me everything I need to know. Like, you know, let me know what's going on. And he was like, she was like, what questions do you have for me? He was like, oh yeah, I got questions for you. And he said, what about, you know, Anthony didn't already fill me in, so tell me about James. And so she was like, what about James? And he was like, well, you know, it seems like James is still trying to be in the picture. Like, is he going to be a problem for like Anthony and our family and everything. And so Cynthia's like, no, like that's the past of the past. Like I handle my, everything going on. Like James is not in the forefront like that. And if there's ever an issue, I handle the issue and I don't let nothing like that go down. She basically was like, put some respect to my name. And so he was like, respect. I feel that. And so then he was asking, how basically they would fit into each other's life. He's like, 'cause Anthony, he don't really be out like that. And then Anthony made a joke like, that was a trick question because I guess Cynthia was asking like, do he get out and stuff? And so Anthony's like, he knows, like, I don't really be getting out the house like that. And so the cousin was like, nah, like it take a lot to get him out. Even if you try to get him out, he don't really be getting out the house like that. And I feel like when we in our 30s, we be a little lazy, okay? And plus, Anthony's job got to be stressful. Child, I know he tired. As a nurse practitioner, I know he tired. So anyway, she was like, well, I will get him out the house. Like, we will go out together. So the cousin was like, dang, like, if you get him out the house before I can get him out the house, then that means he love you more than me. And so Cynthia's like, oh, like, hold on. Like, that ain't fair. She's like, you can come out with us. And then he's like, okay, I like you. So then Anthony's like, dang, you like her already? Like, Anthony's like, slow your roll. And so that was pretty much the end of their talk and everything. And so Chris said, he likes Cynthia a lot. He really likes her, but, he can see how the ex thing could be a problem. Okay. So Anthony said he has to, figure out the decision he's going to make. Cynthia said she's really happy that, Anthony invited her to meet his family, and glad she got the family's approval. However, she can't let go of her connection with Andre. I'm like, girl, please let it go. Please let it go. Anyway. Then we see Andre. Speaking of Andre, he invites Cynthia and Jefri to meet with his sister Jamila and Jamila's daughter. I forgot the daughter's name. So anyways, this is Andre's niece. So he said his sister Jamila don't play. He told her to take it easy, but she ain't gonna take it easy, okay? They had their wigs done. Y'all see that? So soon as Cynthia got there, she was asking Cynthia how old is she. She's like 37. And she's like, okay, but you already got 2 kids. So like, how's that gonna work? Are you gonna have more kids? Like, girl, what you gonna do? And so Cynthia said, yeah, I'll have 2 more kids and the dog. I already let Andre know, like, that's the most I can do. And she's like, you gotta have that dog. She's like, yeah, the dog is there just in case he want a 3rd kid. Like, that's the best I can do. So they kind of like that answer. And so then Jefri came. Jefri came at her best. Sunday's best. Jefri came in her Sunday's best, okay, ready to make a good old impression. She was serving Carmen from Potomac season. Remember when Carmen met Donovan's mom and she came with her Sunday church lady best? That's what Jefri was giving, her Sunday church lady best. I said, come through, Jefri. That's the most covered up we've seen you all season, girl. Cynthia was like, Jefri came looking like in her mom dress with her arms and everything covered up. She was like, who is this? So, and we all said, who is this? So anyway, Jamila got right into Jefri. She's like, so you have 3 kids and the baby daddies ain't involved, right? She's like, don't you think that's more of a liability than an asset? I said, ooh, ouch. Ouch. And so, Jeffrey's like, yes, that's true. Like, that's what it is. And she was like, she's like, so what do you bring to the table as a woman at this point? And she's like, I feel like I am all the woman a man needs. Like, I'm everything a man needs. And I am the total package. Jefri was selling herself on her womanly wiles like she always do. Like, her kids are good, she said. Jefri in the confessional was like, instead of her questioning me, she'd be questioning her brother. Like, why is he going after me? There was 20 other women in the process who didn't have kids. Like, she needs to be questioning why is he going after a woman who wants kids. And I can see Jeffrey's point on that, okay? Jefri didn't bother me this whole episode too much, okay? I'm going to give Jefri her props in this moment and a later moment with Marc Anthony. But anyway, Cynthia was like, I got 2 master's degree. I got a bachelor degree. So do I, girl. She said she got 2 businesses. I ain't got that. She's like, my kids are good. So basically, Cynthia was letting them know, like, I don't need Andre to take care of my kids. Like, I got that. And she was like, he won't be a stepdad anyway. He will be a bonus dad. Basically letting them know, like, my kids got a daddy. Okay? And they got money. They good. So, Jamila was like, okay, cool. They were like, we like, the niece likes Cynthia. She's like, well, based off the answers, like Cynthia for sure. Everybody likes Cynthia's answer. Cynthia knows how to answer a question, and she has a good way with her words. I hope she is always genuine, though. That was my only issue I had with Cynthia this episode. I wasn't 100% sure how genuine she was, especially in some of the scenes with Anthony. But that's just my take. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Okay, so anyway, Jamila's like, no, I ain't feeling Cynthia, them kids, I ain't feeling it. And she was like, and Jefri, hell no. She was like, Cynthia with her 2 kids, no. Jefri with her 3 kids, it's a hell no. She was like, I don't want none of them, send them back. Nope. So Andre's like, dang, but he said it's ultimately his decision to make, and which is true, it is. And we will see next week what decision he make, y'all. So, then let's see, let's get to Tony and Morgan before we talk about Jefri and Marc Anthony and Mercedes and all them. So Morgan and Tony go on a date because Tony want to follow up with Morgan about the whole they need canceling thing and figure that out. So Morgan and Tony go on a one-on-one date, and he was like, let's get right into it. Like, you mentioned that we need to have canceling and talk to somebody when we were on a date with my sister, and I'm not sure if that's the words you meant to say. Like, do you feel like we're at that level? Like, girl, like, what you talking about? And so Morgan was like, yes, I feel like, you have not been showing up as a man you said you are. You're supposed to be. Like, let's go back to the beginning, to the things and decisions and choices you were making that were not, the type of man you say you are. So let's go back to the beginning with your entanglement with Natasha. I said, entanglement with Natasha? Now, how Natasha get in it? So anyway, Natasha probably sitting at home pissed, okay? As pissed as Marcia was the last 2 weeks. I said, y'all better stop bringing up other people's names who already eliminated. Anywho, so Tony lets us know the confessional, y'all. On the first day of the mixer, right, him and Natasha hit it off. She slid him his number. And they went on a few dates. Even though Natasha was eliminated already, he still went on some dates with her. And they got physical. He said he wanted to explore their physical connection, and they were intimate, okay? And so Morgan was like, you over there doing that, yeah, you told me. Morgan said, she didn't bring it up until now because of Tony. Basically, she was saying how Tony's actions are not matching his words, and she don't like that he did that. And so I'm like, girl, you wasn't embarrassed when he embarrassed you down to the table at the getaway, but this is what you bringing up? Okay, girl. So Morgan was like, you had to go, for the lowest hanging fruit. Like, you're not thinking about where you're sticking your private parts at. You're over here making, horrible decisions as a man. You had to go for the lowest hanging fruit or somebody who's already eliminated. I was like, why she had to be the lowest hanging fruit? What's that supposed to mean? Because Natasha is very educated. She's a lawyer. I believe she's verified on Twitter. I follow her. So what was that about, Morgan? Like, Morgan was very nasty and talking about Natasha. So, Morgan went on to say, that is not right. Like, just going off on Tony. So then Tony was like, first of all, I'm not about to let you sit here and berate me. Like, that's not okay. And I'm not going to let you sit here and disrespect Natasha. Natasha's a very beautiful woman. She's educated. She's this and that. Like, you don't need to be doing that. So then Morgan was like, cut all this speech about Natasha. Like, no, she's not. Like, like, you don't need to say all that. No, she's not pretty. Like, you need to stop all that Natasha talk. And so I'm like, Morgan, ew, like, that is nasty. Like, at the end of the day, what did this girl do to you? He was like, this is before me and you had any kind of connection. And so that's what happened. So she was like, I'm trying to give you another chance to prove to me. But, she's like, you better not do it again. And, how they toxic stuff. Like, she ain't going to leave him over that either. So I don't even know why she was doing all that, berating him. And he better be careful and giving him all these empty threats. Because if you were okay, girl, what happened at the getaway and didn't exit stage left from Tony then, I'm not saying she had to choose Lyndon. She needed to self-eliminate like Blake did, okay? But if you were okay with how he played you at the getaway, and you already knew this Natasha incident, and you were okay with that as well, granted, that's not as bad because they weren't connected yet anyway. Still, Tony dibbling, dabbling outside the process, so that's what's really the issue here. Girl, you're okay with all that stuff anyway. You like it, we love it. We're not gonna even hold Morgan to the fire anymore. She like it, we love it. So anyway, let's get to Marc Anthony, right? So Marc Anthony meets up with Jefri because he says that Jefri has been kind of distant since the getaway. He want to know what's really good with her. So they go on a date. Jefri is back to showing her skin. Okay, she had a long sleeve, but she back to, she ain't church lady no more. So he's telling her how beautiful she is. And he was like, I know ever since the getaway, things have been kind of rocky and different between us. And so she said it's been hard trying to manage two connections at once, and she thought it was something she could do, but she, it's really been a struggle for her, and she is leaning more towards her other connection. She could see them working out, but at the same time, it's a big risk. She doesn't know, especially with her having kids, and her kids is a factor that makes her kind of hesitant with Marc Anthony. And Marc Anthony did say in his confessional, originally he was not going to date any woman with kids, but then Jefri came along and he didn't see how it would work, but then he did see, an equation on how it could work. And so it sucks that now it's not working out. I'm like, Marc Anthony, you are not going to stick by Jefri and her kids. Like, don't play with us, sir. So Jefri was basically saying to protect her heart, protect her kids. She'd rather not go down that road because of the risk of it all. But she feels like it's the wrong timing as well. She feels like, she still has love for Marc Anthony. She, feels like they could be friends and all that. So she basically cut Marc Anthony loose, okay? So she's really going after Andre at this point, which makes sense to me. This is what we all wanted to see. Marc Anthony made better sense with Mercedes, and Jefri makes better sense with Andre, okay? Now, I don't know what Cynthia doing, okay? So anyway, that was that. So Marc Anthony, he did say in the beginning of that date that he doesn't feel comfortable he doesn't feel comfortable introducing any of his family members to any of the women if they're not really connected with him, okay? So then when he went to set up the little Zoom day with his cousin up in New York for him and Mercedes, he said he got a Zoom day with his cousin in New York for Mercedes to meet his cousin. I forgot the cousin's name. I think his name was Michael or something. And he's like, I invited Mercedes over, to talk to my cousin on Zoom and see what he thinks of her. He's like, you know who I didn't invite over? Jefri. I said, Marc Anthony, you are petty and your ego is bruised. We already know you wasn't inviting Jefri because she cut you loose. So we didn't need all that energy in the confessional, sir. Relax. So anyway, Mercedes come on over. Okay, Mercedes is so cute, y'all. And she's just such a natural girl. She just looks super bubbly. She want to have fun. She want to turn up. So he asked her, have you ever been married? Have you been engaged before? Answer was no and a no. So he's like, okay, good. We off to a good start. And I'm like, what if she did? Then what? So he was asking her, how do you see your role as a wife? And so she said, of course, you think getting married is this fun, blissful thing, but of course it's not really like that. It's hard work. And I know, at the end of the day, I'll be probably in those traditional worlds, Marc Anthony will be the man of the house, be the man, and I'll be the woman. I have no problem with that. But she's like, I still, at the end of the day, I want to have fun. I want to drop my kids off and go out and turn up with my boo, with my husband. I want to go to the strip club together. I still want to turn up and have fun. She want to be a young wild mama. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I feel you, Mercedes. I want to drop the kids off too and go turn up. Okay. So he's like, yeah, I feel it. And so he's like, so you want a marriage? And she said she wants a commitment. Okay. So Marc Anthony liked the questions that his cousin was asking. His cousin also mentioned that Marc Anthony and their family is from New York, and family is big for them. And Marc Anthony, I guess, has been considering moving back up to New York. He never mentioned this on the show. And so how would she feel about that? And so she said, her job is very unconventional. She's a flight attendant, so she can fly up to New York anytime. And I'm sure she could live anywhere to be a flight attendant. I don't know how that works, so maybe they have to live by their home base airport. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments from my flight attendant viewers. So anyway, she said, her job is unconventional, but she could make it work and travel a lot for her job. She let us know. She said, but it would definitely be difficult, and it's definitely something to think about because that could be challenging doing a long distance relationship. And she let us know in the confessional that Marc Anthony has mentioned moving back up to New York, and she doesn't know how that would all play out. And I was like, I wonder why you on the show then. But anyway, all right. So they're going to be fine. So she left. Cousin said he really likes her. He likes her vibe and all that. He's feeling her for sure. Okay. Sounds good. Cool. Now, down to the beach, we see Anthony and Cynthia on a little date, and he wanted to, after their date with the family member, connect with her, have a romantic date, show her his romantic side. He had got her a little like makeshift cabana thing set up on the sand. That was cute. I like that. And so they were having a little fruit and they wine, they're talking, and he was asking like, how do she see their life in the future working out? And so she's like, we both work hard in our jobs. We both are, you're a good dad, I'm a good mom. We both have that balance. Plus we balance each other well, managing, balancing, dating each other. And so she feels like they would really work out. She says she sees nothing but, good times for them. And she sees it, really working out. And so he seemed to agree with her, and he said he values her and he's enjoyed getting to know her. And he said he had a surprise for her. The surprise was giving her a little foot massage, so he rubbing lotion and oils on her feet and stuff. And she was like, oh yeah, keep doing this, don't just do it this time, like you gotta keep this up, be consistent with it. And I don't know, something in this date I was getting like, I'm not sure Cynthia is sold on Anthony. Like last week I was like, okay, maybe. And even, okay, when she went on the date to meet the cousin, she was like, hey husband. But I'm like, okay, she's not saying all that to Andre. So I don't know, Cynthia playing with us on the screen. I'm worried that Cynthia is playing with us, y'all. Like, does she rather have an Andre? Because Andre actually is very similar to James when you think about it. They're both very loud and proud. And Anthony's not like that. He's way more reserved and laid back. So Andre is more of what she would be used to. And that same type of bravado energy that Anthony does not really have. But he can bring it out when he wants to. That's the thing with Anthony. So I don't know. Now I'm kind of on the fence with the Cynthia and Anthony thing. I hope Cynthia doesn't go for Andre. But I don't know. I'm not sure if she's genuine about Anthony. That's the part that worries me. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all feel, because I don't know how it's going to all play out. So let's see. They got up, they hugged. That was the end of their date, y'all. Okay. So then that was all the dates. So then we get to the gentleman's lounge, and, nephew Tommy lets them know this is going to be the last time they come together. Anthony, he said it's been nice getting to know the men, having this connection. He had a little tear. So he said, we got passionate Tony, we got Andre, we got Marc Anthony, and it's just them, the four men left. So Tommy, asked about the dates. He's like, Anthony, how was your date with Cynthia and your cousin? He lets the fellas know, like, I introduced Cynthia to my cousin Chris. He was coming at her with questions, and, Cynthia gave her passionate answers, and that's what it was. And I was like, the way he said that. I think there's something about Cynthia he's not believing either. That was like, I don't know. So then I believe he went to Tony. And he asked Tony about, that situation with Morgan. And so he was like, Morgan mentioned that she thinks that we need to go to counseling and talk to somebody about our communication. And then Tommy was like, go to counseling? Like, wait, what? And then he was like, yeah, but then I think she meant like, she used the wrong wording, because Regina was alarmed by that because we just started dating. And then he's like, yeah. And then he's like, but I think she really meant coaching is the word you meant, and she misspoke. And so Tommy's like, you can't change the word to make it mean what you think it's supposed to mean. Like, coaching and counseling are two different things. And so Tony's like, nah, because she changed it. She backtracked on it. I was like, whatever, Tony. And so, So Tommy was like, okay, well, what happened on the solo date you and Morgan had? Producers had already told Tommy what to ask about. So Tony was like, I did tell. Morgan brought up the situation with an entanglement I had with Natasha. So Tommy was like, Natasha, the one that went home the first night? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, what happened with Natasha? So he's like, the night of the mixer, me and Natasha was really feeling each other. So, she gave me her number. She wanted to get to know me more. So we went on a few dates, after that night. And so Tommy was like, first of all, Tony, you done broke one of the first rules I told you. And you dating people who already been eliminated. He's like, okay, now what else happened, Tony? And he was like, so, me and Natasha, we were intimate with each other. And so the guys, Marc Anthony, with his petty stuff, he over there cracking up. Tommy was like, Tony, like, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, you done broke Tommy's number one rule. Like, come on. So Tony begins to say something about Natasha. Tommy's like, okay, move forward. We're going to just talk about Morgan and Tony. Because I think Tommy didn't want to disrespect Natasha because Tony and Morgan already sprayed this girl's tea that she didn't lay it alone and sprayed it wide with Tony after she got eliminated. So Tommy didn't want to spray no more of her tea. I was like, this is so damn embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. Anyway, sorry, Natasha girl. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's why y'all gotta follow the rules, Liberty to Love. That's why y'all gotta follow the rules, okay? The rules are there for a reason. So anyway, he was like, how did Morgan handle this? She's like, no, she was fine with it. Like, she was glad that I told her and everything. Tommy's like, are you sure, Tony? Because you know Morgan gets her revenge on. Like, are you sure you're gonna end up with hair plugs in your hair? You sure she good? You sure? He's like, now make sure she good. I'll make sure she good. Okay. So then Andre talked about his dates with his family and Cynthia and Jefri. He let them know that, you know, the sister wasn't feeling Cynthia with her 2 kids. And then he was like, what about Jefri with her 3 kids? And he was like, nah, really not feeling that one. Marc Anthony introduced Mercedes to, you know, he let them know about how that date went and how, you know, I think he did mention how him and Jefri decided to part ways as well. So anyway, then nephew Tommy was asking Andre. So Andre's like, you know, he still has 2 connections to make. He still has 2 connections to decide on. He still has a strong connection with Cynthia and Jefri, and he doesn't know which way to go. And so basically Andre has to take one of the ladies out and decide, you know, which one he's going to eliminate and which one he's going to move forward with. Okay, so then we get this pointless scene. I'm sorry, it was just pointless to me, y'all. We get this pointless scene with Andre and Cynthia going on a date because Andre was getting ready to say, like, Cynthia, girl, it ain't it for you. But to me, it didn't make any sense anyway because we're at the very, very final. We got 4 men. Cynthia still has a connection with Anthony. So in my opinion, this date was unnecessary. And I said it on Twitter. And somebody tried to say, oh, well, he was supposed to eliminate Cynthia, but then he changed his mind. I don't care. It was a scheme set up by production, okay, is what it was. Because it wouldn't make sense to eliminate Cynthia at this point when she still has a connection with Anthony. And we don't know who she is choosing between Andre and Anthony. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. So I know we saving it to the next episode. Like, we already know what's going to happen. Like, come on. So, but I'll tell y'all how the scene went anyway. All right, so they get to the date. Basically, Andre was ready to let Cynthia go, though. Cynthia was like, she's kind of worried about this date. Like, she still has her 2 strong connections, but she doesn't know if this is like an elimination date or not. Girl, it wasn't one. So he said, you know, he feels like Jefri is his stronger connection. You know, he's connected with Cynthia. And so him and Cynthia sit down and talk. And she said, you know, me and you have been through a lot. They talk about the process and all that. And he was like, you know, it's been really hard because I have 2 strong connections. And Cynthia said in her confessional, like, she don't understand why Andre is struggling to choose between 2 connections. That's like choosing between a rock and a diamond. Like, come on, like, it's the obvious choice. And I was like, why is Cynthia pushing for this? I'm gonna win Andre over Jefri so hard. Like, I was like, this is the part of Cynthia I was like, what's really happening here? Like, you want Andre that bad, girl? That bad. Like, if you don't let Jefri have that one, girl, that ain't it. That ain't what you want. And James' show ain't gonna have it. So anyway, she was like, you know, you're the only one that's seen me cry. You've seen me get emotional on so many occasions. So we had an emotional connection. Like, Cynthia's just not letting that part go. And I'm just like, girl. And he's the only one in the process that got to that part of her. And Andre's like, you know, that smile that Cynthia has resonates with me and had an emotional connection. I really appreciate that. And so Cynthia said all the right words to make him confused as ever. And so she was like, you know, I really care about you. And he's like, say that again. She's like, I really care about you. If I haven't told you before, I really care about you. And he's like, oh, that just touches my heart. And they're talking about, you know, he was like, you always say things that really, like, you know, enlighten the mood. And basically everything she was saying, he was like, you know, in his confessional, like, man, everything she was saying now, I don't even know. Like, I couldn't even break it off with her now. And so she was like, okay, so are you making your decision? Because that's what he was, like, beating around the bush about it. And then he was like, you know, I still got a tough decision to make. I don't really know. I haven't made my decision yet. And even though he was supposed to eliminate it right then, but he didn't. I already knew he wasn't going to do that. It was like giving the whole, who was the girl in Houston at the with Kyra and AJ and Alexis Fly, when he was supposed to choose Alexis Fly, but he ended up and sending Kyra home, but then he ended up keeping Kyra. That scene was more genuine than this Andre Cynthia thing. Okay, this Andre Cynthia thing was definitely a scheme set up by production. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can argue me about it in the comments. But I'm glad Cynthia gets to stay. Nevertheless, next week we're gonna see who chose who. She was in the previews as one of the people dressed up. So we're going to see what happened, y'all. We got our 4 men left: Marc Anthony, Andre, Tony, and Anthony. And then we have our 4 ladies left: Cynthia, Jefri, Morgan, and Mercedes. So, we hope it play out the way we want it to. But, I'm glad we're wrapping it up. The reunion, I already know the reunion about to be lit, y'all, because Natasha got to come back for her things. Marcia got to come back for her things, okay? So, it's going to be good. Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all thought of the episode in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'm going to talk to y'all soon. Bye.